On the run! Rebel leaders Han Solo and Leia Organa are sent on a mission to find a new base. While scoping out the remote planet of Bombardia, they find another group is already hiding there. A Mandalorian covert that likes to shoot first and ask questions later. Can the rebels fight their way out? Hello everyone and welcome back to another Bombad Battle Report. Now, I don't know about you, but since Shatterpoint was announced basically, I have been excited to put a full Mandalorian team on the table. And as of recently, we are finally able to do that. So without further ado, let's jump into the lists. We are starting off with a full Mando list. Pretty standard stuff here, but it's really good. A really good all-comers list. You've got some really good attack deterrents in something like Paz on one side of the board, and then steadfast protection with Bo on the other. Just good fortresses, hard to push through, and then some splashy pieces with Mando, Armorer, and strong supports. So really a bit of everything. Now, the opposing side, Team Rebels, might have a little bit of trouble with that because a lot of their effectiveness comes from attacks, especially someone like Han trying to do double attacks. He won't love Paz, and he won't really love Bo either, because he doesn't double shove especially well. But we do have a tiebreaker body. We've got Lockdown with Lobot and the little Leia Lobot synergy here. So very excited to see what these lists can do. The Rebels got first player, and they chose Never Tell Me the Odds, because I want to play a bit more of that. And I ended up putting the Han squad on the left, just because that left elevated objective is going to be hard for someone like Lobot or Bar2 to get to. And then as far as the Mandalorians go, I do try to put the faster squad on the right on odds if I can. So we've got Mando and Bo over there, whereas we've got, Paz, who's a bit slower, on the left, holding that down. And the first layout is going to be Desperate Measures. That's going to be really good actually for the Mandalorians. They'll have an easier time attacking the Rebels' home objectives, and Paz can sit on that left side. Now, starting things off for the Rebels, we do get Han, which that can work for us. We don't need to get too aggressive on that far side. So he's going to choose R2 and Lando to get the advance, because obviously they're still in the deck. He's going to go up this ladder here, just barely. We'll give it to him. And that is going to allow them, I'm thinking, move them up quickly because they can't be shot at. Now they're only a dash away from contesting that and hopefully being safe from someone like Paz or the coverts who shoot really, really well. Han, we're going to see if we can get aggressive and, maybe if we can get to that ladder, go down the ladder, shoot one of the Mandalorians and go for a reposition to steal their back objective immediately because it is elevated. So I'm measuring a few times. I think there's not a lot of downside if we get aggressive, so we're going to try it with Han. He's nothing if not a guy who recklessly charges forward, so taking that advance, but we're going to be well short there, unfortunately, about a centimeter-ish away. So that's fine. We're just going to second action, hunker backwards towards our own objective, and kind of keeping that nice and more secure than it was before with just the Rebel commando taking it. So each team is going to start by taking their home objectives. I'm not too worried about not getting a body on that right side for the Rebels right away, just because then it can make them a bit vulnerable, though sometimes it would be nice to get someone in there before Paz goes, but we'll see. The covert could easily get to that side. They won't have a lot to shoot at potentially. I kind of think it might be better to hold them as a threat. They're really good at shooting things, and if they can, threaten to come up and blast something off the table, that'll be good. So we'll reserve them, and we get Bo instead. She is on that far side, but we can start helping things out. She's going to move up Mando to that ingress, protect our home objective a little bit better for the Mandos, then use her really good mobility to hopefully go and knock Han away. So we're going to stay within 2 of the Mandalorian to use Mandalorians Are Stronger Together, giving us a focus. We have nothing to heal, but we're going to take that dash up the ingress So we haven't even had to use any force. Let's start by punching Mr. Solo. And that's going to be a good roll. 3 down the tree is exactly what we wanted. We're going to be able to jump and then get that better angle to shove Han away. Plus an extra 4 damage. Not too shabby. Knocking him off. That is kind of the downside, I guess, from being aggressive with Han, is he was in a position then where he could get shoved off pretty easily. So that is not good for the rebels at all. That home objective has been flipped, and it's not the end of the world, but Bo is a sticky customer there with her protection steadfast. But Ezra is a good draw because he does have that tiebreaker, even if he's not able to knock her away. Now, I was thinking about a world where maybe he moves up, shoots, gets a reposition, attacks that back point with the Mandos, but that seems unnecessarily aggressive, so we will probably not do that. Instead, we'll pay that 1 force, jump up, and take the melee attack into Bo, which will win us the objective, and we'll just take what we can get on this attack. Not great, but 2 crits and an expertise damage gets through, which is going to be... we'll do 4 down to 3 with a pin. Unfortunately, no heals there for Han from Ezra. So just flip that objective back, score 2, and both sides are going to get a momentum. As now, we'll keep the coverts in reserve, I think, and Paz is wonderful. Everything is coming up Mando here in this early game. He's just got the 2 supports to jump up, but that's plenty. That's all we were expecting in this layout. And then we're going to have an opportunity for him to just sit on that objective and be a real pain in the butt for rebels to deal with. So that is quite good. We're looking here. Yeah, we could go shoot Ezra. Maybe try to get a shove away if we really wanted. But then we're not taking that right side objective. We don't have him hanging around. I think that's what we would prefer. So just in advance, he can't shoot Lando because they are in disguise. So he's just going to take cover to get in range of that objective. And he is only 1 shove will knock him off. But it'll be through an attack, and then he could potentially jump back. So good spot for him to be in. As the rebels get commandos who are not super well situated to do much of anything right now, honestly. So I put them in reserve. And unfortunately, we do draw Lando and R2. I maybe should have kept the reserve slot for them. Now, they are outside range 3 of Paz, which means they will both get to advance here with their active ability as they mingle up the board. So that's good. The problem is they're just going to get absolutely blown up. And I was thinking, do I stay out of range 2 of Paz here and just hunker, getting ready for the coverts? But, I wanted to put on a little bit of a show here, I think. So we're going to first action, advance, and engage. And just we're gonna attack. We're gonna see what we can do into Paz. We're probably dead men anyways with those coverts coming up, even if we took the hunker. So we'll see what we can get. First attack from R2, not great. Just 1 getting through for 2 damage, and Paz is going to use his reactive to jump just outside of range 2 here, so he can take a shot back at R2, and this is gonna hurt. Yeah, that's a lot. That's 6, but I mean, they rolled a great defense dice too, so only 3 with a shove and a pin, thanks to fantastic rolls all around on that side. Now, Lando might as well go ahead and punch as well. Again, not good. Nothing getting through against Paz. Yikes. Not worth the attack there. Hunker would have been better in hindsight, but hey, we tried. We got aggressive. And once again, the rebels score 3, which means momentum again. It's time for the coverts. They're just going to walk up and blow these guys up, most likely with their awesome ranged expertise. So moving to just outside range 2 of Lando, they're going to get their free focus from Mandalorians are stronger together. And then the other one will keep high up just to protect that home objective. And obviously we'll choose sharpshooter for this turn. That's a big shot into Lando. 4 get through, which is going to be enough for the wound, a couple shoves, a strain, and a disarm. And this is a great time to wound Leia, or to wound Lando, because Leia is too far away with her revenge trigger. So that is going to be a very effective shot. She will still get a dash up the field, but she will be well outside of range to attack. She'll toss the hunker over to Lobot, I guess, though it's not really going to come up, since I don't think he's getting shot before he's activating. The next guy might as well shoot R2, because we've got no one else in range, and we'll just do a couple shoves. The strain doubles up for a damage, but we can't apply any more damage anyways. So just get R2 out of position. And I guess the covert can follow up as well to get a little bit closer to the objective, though it doesn't really change the math much at all. But 2 buys to none on that midline objective is quite strong for the Mandalorians, especially considering we've got Paz hanging out right there. So I'd say they're very much in the driver's seat in this early struggle one. Things are really breaking their way. And, you know, Rebel Commando's not doing much. Leia, I don't think... well, she'll start by using her tactic to dash Han up. I don't think we're flipping a ton of objectives right now, or maybe no objectives. We're just going to use this as a setup turn, score 2, and at least only we gain the momentum. She's going to pay 1 force to dash Lobot, I think, because if she just focuses and dashes, she's not going to be in range of that covert up top. Obviously wanting to attack the one far away from Paz. So we do need to get a little bit extra distance. That's where Lobot comes in. So pay the force. Lobot's going to dash. Leia is going to be outside range to use a heal, but then she's going to advance just inside range 2 of Lobot, which is going to give her a focus. And that focus is going to give her a dash, so she's going to move just outside range of Paz. So she's still contesting the objective, but able to shoot, and will shoot that covert up top. Yeah, so we got that. Very good. Range 5, no problem. Not a great roll with a bunch of fails there, but we will still get 3 down the tree, which is going to be 5 damage. We can heal that disarm off Bartu and give a shove to knock that covert back a little bit. Though maybe I shouldn't have. Maybe I should have kept them a bit more forward so someone like Lobot could potentially come up and shoot them next round, especially because his gun is only range 4. And we'll use that shove follow-up just to sit on that objective. Rebels score only 2, but there is a pretty sneaky, well, maybe not that sneaky, but there is a play next turn that could be pretty interesting to steal those 2 objectives as the Mandalorians get their Shatterpoint. And right here, I was looking at that play. I was also looking at this objective, thinking if maybe I wanted to attack it, but I eventually decided go with the armorer and try to snuff out that Rebel double flip, which, I don't know, maybe I should have stayed aggressive. This is where it's tough being both players, because, you know, I kind of see what each other player's thinking, and then I got caught up in trying to block a big play rather than being aggressive. But we're going to move the armorer up. She's not going to go for the expose. Save the force here. Leia does get 1 die extra. And, oh, I mean, that's a decent roll, but only 3 means 6 damage into Leia. 1 shove. Leia is still going to be on that objective, which is what we wanted to avoid. The path is still narrow for that Rebel play, but she is going to be on the objective. It is going to be more flippable than it would otherwise. So I keep talking about that Rebel play. What is it? Well, let's see here, because the Rebels are going to get their own Shatterpoint, and we're going to pick Mr. Lobot to be our guy who carries out the plan. So step 1 is going to be Han dashing with the Lobot tactic. That does put him into range 3 of the covert, so we'll slap a pin on them. Tell Lando to dash and shoot the covert, and that's the crit that we needed. 2 damage getting through is going to be the wound. Plus we get a shove, which isn't bad. But yeah, we just need that 1 crit really at the end of the day. So that is fantastic. Han gets to dash after the kill, which is really big. The Mandalorian gets to move. He'll kind of stay protecting that back objective in case the Rebel Commandos get any ideas. So part 1 of the plan is complete. We've killed the coverts and flipped that top objective. Now Lobot's going to advance, and take a shot at the armorer to see if we can get a couple shoves, get her away from Paz, and maybe flip this objective 2-1. And look at that! Quad crits! She takes one out, but he gets the 3 he needs. 3 damage, disarm, and all-important double shove, which not only takes the armorer outside range 2 of the objective, but that's going to take her outside range 2 of Paz so that we don't get blown up by a reactive attack. Really huge shot there from Lobot. That is exactly what we needed. Not only from him, but also great attack from Lando to finish off those coverts for us. So I got a little greedy with the armorer, not paying for that expose on Leia, and that's the result, because that is the play we were trying to avoid as the Mandalorians, and it comes off. The Rebels flip 2, and they're going to score 4, and suddenly the Rebels are looking real good in this struggle here, because they've banked a lot of momentum. Now the Mandalorians get the armor, but I don't think she's in a good spot right now, because she either takes this point that Leia and Lobot are on, and it gets flipped back immediately, or she takes Han's point, and it probably gets flipped back immediately, unless she can wound Han. But then Leia comes up, and it's all tricky, and she's got that disarm, which we can probably heal off, but we'll reserve her, I think, and we get Clan Kree's Mandalorians instead. So here they go. They're going to advance. At least they can come and try to maybe flip 2 objectives for the Mandalorians with that Ezra objective and the Rebel Commando one. They'll get their free focus because they're ending within range 2 of each other and also of Mando. Pay 1 to jump. We're going to try to stay back a little bit. Hopefully that'll be outside range 2 of Ezra. So trying to be eyeballing that, because the thinking is maybe we can, there we go, good. We got outside range 2, which means we can hopefully shoot him off the platform and then follow up onto the objective. But even if we can just get him away, then Bo will flip the objective for us. And the other one is using their jump up, hit the ingress, and then come down for some extra distance. So one has to deal with Ezra, one has to deal with the Rebel Commando. We'll start with that Rebel Commando. Oh, they get the 4 expertise. That means they are going to get a reposition, so we can't double shove and pin them. We'll go for the pin, but they shake it. Whatever happened, they were staying on that objective. And then into Ezra, that is a good shot at least. So we will be doing a double shove and 6 damage. He will dash away the pin right away, but he is exposed. So if we attack him again, he'll probably be dead, but at the very least he won't be getting that dash. So I do think we really needed that double flip with the Mandalorians to score 3. So that is a bad mistake that we made on the Shatterpoint that turn. The Mandalorians are certainly not in the driver's seat like they once were, but there is some hope here because we do have 2 steadfast bodies on that objective. Could be pretty hard for the Commandos to flip it. Mandos score just 2, but maybe they can force some dead turns here with Rebel Commandos and then maybe Lobot. That was kind of the thinking as well, reserving armor, maybe wait out Lobot so that he has a dead turn, but we'll see. Rebel Commandos, who are going to first action heal the disarm and a damage, then pay 1 to dash, get their focus and a hunker. This guy at the bottom being careful to stay outside range of Clan Kree's so that he can shoot different Clan Kree's, and then the other guy is going to take the ingress up the ladder. And we'll need a bit of luck here, but we'll try to knock 2 people off of this objective through steadfast, which is going to be tough. Wow, that is a good defensive roll, but triple crits gets exactly what we need because we need that double shove to get past steadfast because Bo is hanging out there. So that is really good. That helps a lot for at least one of them. And then the second guy is going to shoot at Bo. And once again, we're going to get that 3 down the tree that we needed for 2 shoves with 1 getting past steadfast. And that should be enough. It'll be close, but if we shove her directly away from the objective and follow up onto it, yeah, she is just out of range. We come down with the shove follow-up, and that's going to be an objective flipped back. Of course, we didn't have to flip the other one because we never lost it in the first place. So that's 4 more points for the Rebels, and they are in a great position here with a big lead in momentum and a lead in the objectives, as the Mandalorian now is going to activate and see what he can do. Unfortunately, he can't move friends. He'll just have to come and go for a kill on these Rebel commandos. Advance. And since we're going for the kill, we'll start with a clan of 2, dashing and punching with 5 dice, going for big damage. 2 down the tree is not terrible for a 5 dice attack. That'll be 3 damage with a shove. And we'll flip stances with Mando and punch with our full allotment of 7 dice. Not a great punch, but we get 2 down the tree once again. Same result, different tree, 3 damage and a shove. That is going to be enough to get the wound. That will flip not only the objective that Mando himself is on, but also the farther objective with the Clan Kryze will flip at the end of this. Now Leia, we could get really aggressive if we want. Move her out, shoot Mando, but then we're taking deflect damage. I don't think that's really worth it. So we will use the dash, but we won't worry about actually shooting Mando himself. So she'll just scooch up a little bit, and I guess give a hunker to Lando and R2. Not that they really care to use it, I would say. And staying out of engagement with the armor, although it doesn't really matter. So that was the second objective that Mando flipped. He flips this one, and they score 3. Now, the Rebels are going to be forced into drawing their last card, which will be Lobot. Initially, we were thinking it could be a dead turn for him, but now that Ezra's in this position and not pinned, Lobot can actually dash him from across the battlefield, pass out a pin on Clan Kryze, we'll say, which is another damage. And then Lobot will just back up with a move action and take another shot at the armor before she goes. Why not? And only 2 down the tree, but that's what we were looking for, really, because 2 damage, shove, and a strain. So that gives her both a disarm and a strain, which will make her next activation a little annoying. She'll probably just have to eat 3 damage, which means she could be wounded relatively easily in the future, perhaps. And Lobot will use the shove to follow up onto the objective, just hitting Leia there. So 3 points for the Rebels, not a dead turn at all. Unfortunately for the Mandalorian hopes. They have a fresh deck now, fresh force, potentially lots of options to start the next struggle, as the Mandalorians have to go with the Armorer, who's going to tell Bo to move and shake her pin. Then the Armorer herself is going to jump and eat 3 damage from the strain as she uses her tactic there, which doesn't feel great, honestly, but hey, I'd rather not be disarmed. So first action, heal the disarm. Second action, punch Lobot, who is the nemesis of the Armorer here. Pretty good roll. 4 down the tree will give us 6 damage, double shove to get Lobot off that objective, and a heal for the Armorer, which she won't say no to, though she does get disarmed in return from his expertise, as she flips, and the Rebels are going to score, the Mandalorians are going to score 3. Off the top of the new deck, the Rebels are going to get Ezra, and if he just kills Clan Kryze, it's a win in the struggle. So focus and punch is what we're going to do. That will do it. 5 damage once we factor in expertise and the double pin. Ezra will just move a little bit on that reposition and give himself triple heal. He gets double momentum for wounding a support and will pay 1 to challenge the odds since he's a secondary. That will win us the struggle, so Han's going to set up for next struggle here with a bit of a move. Just a small little dash towards the middle. The Mandalorian, he could probably go short up that Ezra objective, but Ezra has the tiebreaker, so he'll flip it regardless, meaning the Mandalorian will just heal a bit off of Bo, and move up. So a struggle win for the Rebels, pulling it back thanks to a suspect Shatterpoint decision on my end for the Mandalorians. As we go, I have a bad feeling about this for Struggle 2. And I'd say that's a pretty decent pull for the Mandalorians because we've got the objective with Paz as active again, which is tough for these rebels to take care of. Whichever layout we choose, we were going to have one that was controlled by the rebels, so in this case it's going to be Ezra's objective, but there is an open objective, which is going to be the double to start us off. So hopefully they can move on to it. They can with Clan Kryze, who are going to be able to wake up and flip both objectives. There might have been a way I could have done this using the ingress to kind of get closer and get the focus, but seemed a bit tight, a bit aggressive. So we'll just go sans focus here, starting by paying 1 for the jump. So this guy's going to get outside range of Ezra, because Clan Kryze are much better at shooting. And then top one, shooting down. Slow start, just one crit getting through. At least we can get a pin on Ezra with the damage. Hopefully we get the wound here. We do, though a shove could have worked as well. 3 damage, double shove, and Ezra will get his defensive expertise dash to remove the pin, but he is wounded, so that helps us a lot, because he can be an annoying tiebreaker body that gets moved around. The Mandos won't bother spending a force to challenge the odds, and I don't think Han's going to spend a force either to keep a little optimism. And then Leia is going to dash, get just outside range of the armorer there, just to kind of get central. Essentially, I'm punting on this struggle with the Rebels, because I don't think I'm in a great position to go challenge any of the objectives. 2 of them are quite far away from my main force, and then one of them has Paz and the armorer hanging out on it, which is going to be tough to assault. So the Mandalorians score 4. The Rebels take a conservative approach, and this will probably be over very quickly in Struggle 2, because one more turn of scoring 4, and the Mandos will have it. So we got Leia as our first pull with the Rebels. I think she could be a really good activation to start Struggle 3 with all the movement she gives. So we'll pay 1 to reserve and draw Rebel Commandos instead. They'll just start with some shots. At range, we're getting 2 through. That's what we like to see for 2 damage, pin, and a shove. And that shove is going to free up the other commando to take a shot instead of a punch, which they certainly prefer to do. Ooh, not a great attack though. Just 1 crit getting through, doubling up on the pin. That's going to be 2 damage. And then second action move. So we'll get 1 more central, and then 1 will kind of move up and engage Clan Kryze there. So no points scored for the Rebels. They'll just score 0 and get a momentum. And the Mandalorians are going to have 1 turn of setup here before we go into Struggle 3. They get the covert, and part of me wants to reserve them as a double body, but I think actually we can take some attacks and really put out a few strains, which could hamper the Rebels going into the next struggle. So we'll try that. I'm thinking Han and Leia would be the people who are nice to strain. There's some big playmakers the Rebels might want to activate. So first action, the covert's going to move, staying outside of melee, getting their free focus, still free thanks to the armorer, and then choosing sharpshooter, shooting Han. That's going to be a pretty good attack, getting a total of 4 damage, strain, and a shove. And then the second one will go into Leia. She has a pretty good defense roll with that extra die, so just 1 getting through for 2 damage. Unfortunately, we weren't able to put the strain on her. That would have been really nice, considering she is sitting there in reserve and might go right away, though she is pretty decent at healing it if need be. So 4 points for the Mandos, and then it's 1 in a million as we go into Struggle 3 with primary units finally being able to challenge the odds. I ended up deciding to go with the bottom option here, the line for the Rebels. Unfortunately, that bottom left objective where we've got Clan Kreese and one Rebel Commando was going to come up regardless. We could go and take it potentially, but I really didn't want that Paz objective to come up yet again, because he's just a pain to deal with when you don't have diceless displacement. The very middle will be a little hard to attack. It is a double. I think there's a play where Leia can do some really good things for us. I think a lot of the other polls that we could have at this moment are kind of bad. You know, if we took like Lobot, or we got Lando and R2, they're pretty far out of position. Han is strained, so I don't love Leia here, but she could do some good plays, and yeah, I think it frees up the reserve slot. So we'll use her tactic to dash bar 2, just get them more central, closer to the action. Means that if we draw them, they'll be more effective on their turn. So that's a good start, I think, honestly. Then we're going to deal with that strain on Han. So we'll pay 1, choose Han. Leia will take the dash for herself, and Han will get the heal to get rid of his strain. So that opens some possibilities up if we draw him next. And then we are going to focus, get the dash, which will just put us within 1 of that ladder. So we want to hop up the ladder. We do want to contest that midline at some point, but we don't want to be in range of Bo, so we'll go a little far back. That opens up a gunshot on the Clan Kreese here, and then hopefully we can follow up onto the objective. So we'll go for broke, going for the kill. That'll do it. She's tossing a ton of dice. So we're going to get a total of 6 damage, that all-important shove to put her in range of the middle objective, and then also a couple heals will help her out. Han will dash just a little bit to stay on that objective, and she will tie that middle objective to 2, though Mando will get a few more heals on Bo and a move himself. And really, we just flip that one objective, the double, because the other ones are tied 1-1 and 2-2. So quite a stalemate as we start out, and that doubles on the Han objective. Now, Mando for the Mandalorians. There's a world where we can flip both of these objectives, though Leia's defensive dash and her revenge trigger do make it tough. I'm looking here if there's space, if we get like a Bo or someone to jump, but I think Han's just body blocking, so we'll start with a punch into Leia, which will get the shove and 1 damage, though Leia will get her defensive dash. That is awkward for us. We're going to try to body block her, but I think I didn't quite do it properly. I should have swung it a little bit more out, because we'll see here, let's see, Leia going up as far as she can. She is just going to have range to stay on that objective. So the Mandalorian has messed up his turn here with... It can be a very precise game sometimes, especially when it comes to body blocks and stuff like that. Maybe it was impossible to get the body block, but I think if we'd gone out a little further, we might have been able to do it. So Clan of 2 here, he's just going to dash and shove Han 2 away. So at least we get the double. But that is going to give both sides a momentum. Would have been real nice if we could have flipped that middle as well for the Mandalorians. So just a little bit of a mistake there again, unfortunately. Double is going to be favorable for the Rebels, and so is the Shatterpoint. I am immediately looking at Han here. I think there's a world where he can... get 2 objectives, even if unlikely. We're going to try it. He's going to get an advance, but it's a dash because he was engaged, because he's choosing Lando and R2. I think we're going to move Lando, just kind of split the difference between these 2 objectives here, so that when they activate, he could potentially climb onto either one and do a melee attack. And then Han's going to start by punching this covert Mando. We're going to get that reposition from expertise, which I was hoping for, and 3 down the tree as well, couple damage, a couple conditions, and a shove. That's really strong. So what we're going to do is we're going to reposition Han, see if we can punch Mando away perhaps, and knowing that we have an action left to move back to flip that left objective. So here goes nothing. Pay 1, 5 dice attack into Mando, and it's a terrible defensive roll. We do it. We get 3 with Han for the double shove, getting past Bo-Katan's steadfast. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. I mean, I said it was possible, but I didn't think that was going to happen. Mando is one of the most defensive units in the game, but we took a bit of a gamble with Han, and it paid off. That is some good luck for the Rebels. They're going to flip that, and they're going to flip this objective, scoring a big 4. So we go from a small boo-boo on Mando's turn, and then some great luck on Han's turn. It means the Rebels are in fantastic spot as we move through the struggle here. Bo-Katan for Mando's. She doesn't feel great. She is probably the only one who can attack this double effectively for Team Mandalore. It would be real nice if she could jump someone on there. So we will tell the coverts to shed their pin, and that opens up maybe them jumping next turn. She will pay 1 to jump out of melee with this Rebel Commando. And I think we're just going to have to go onto a lower level here. But that's fine. Bo's very mobile. It's just now that we're out of engagement, that allows us to advance. Well, we were engaged with Ezra technically, but he is wounded, so we advance. We get our focus, heal off the last of our damage, and get a dash, which opens up the shove angle. Now, Bo is really not good at double shoving, but we got to do it. We're going to tilt her or turn her model around to be more aesthetically pleasing, and this roll is important, and that is a really good defensive roll for the Commandos. Just 2. We don't get 1 shove, much less 2, so that's going to be 0 points for the Mandalorians, and that's a tough way for them to end it here, unfortunately. I mean, the game's not technically over, but the Rebels can afford to just kind of sit on their hands. Well, sit on their hand solo. Here we go. Sorry about that pun, but he will move himself, not really at all. He'll move R2, and just to add insult to injury, focus, shoot this covert. That'll get the wound, allowing us to challenge the odds and winning it right away. Probably should have challenged the odds with Leia earlier when she got that kill on Clan Kryze, but oopsie, oh well. Mando can heal and move, but it's not going to matter. The game is already done. He's not flipping anything, and that'll be that as the Rebels score 4 and take the game. So a couple very quick struggles at the end there to pull it out for the Rebels. A tight struggle one that honestly the Mandalorians were in control of. So as we go into the rewind, I think the big mistake when it came to the Mandalorians, I kind of called it out at the time, but you know, when you're playing against yourself, I think for me, as thinking in the Rebel mindset, I was like, oh man, there's this really cool play where I can move Lobot, get this extra attack, and you know, move Han, blah blah blah. Flip 2 objectives. So then the Mandalorian player, I also see that, and I'm thinking, I gotta stop that. When really what I should have done is just kept the pedal to the metal, maybe dove Mando in to try to steal a back objective on the Shatterpoint instead of going with the Armorer. And then especially getting cocky with the Armorer and not going for that expose on Leia was a bad move, even though she was in her worst melee defensive stance. 4 is still asking a lot from the Armorer if it's a really important move. And then, of course, the Rebels got some luck. Like, everything went right that following turn for Lobot, with the shot getting the double shove on the Armorer, and then also Lando being able to get the kill on the covert. The Han turn was quite lucky, getting that double shove on Mando. But again, a small misplay for the Mandalorians with Small in the terms of like the distance, but really big in game impact with Mando not properly body blocking that ingress, allowing Leia to jump back up and keep that middle from flipping. So those were the big mistakes, I think, in review. Now, on a more positive note, I'm going to give the MVP of the game to Lobot. He had that double activation at the end of Struggle 1, which was really handy. The armorer was trying to force him into a dead activation, but his tactic's so good, especially with Ezra moving around a tiebreaker body. Really handy. And of course, the turn before that we've mentioned a few times, that double flip was critical. So he's going to get our MVP. So I hope you guys enjoyed this game. I do apologize that the focus was a bit wonky. I realized right after I finished filming why I was having so much trouble with it. So future videos should be back to the same old standard that we know and hopefully love. And I hope you enjoyed seeing some more Never Tell Me the Odds on this channel, because it's a fun objective that I don't think I play enough of. So keep an eye out for more of that in the future. Have a good one.